or any chance of hearing. You might well say, parents had catch all of it.
Well, if there's anything you didn't go here, give me a yell. Tell me you think you've missed something.
Oh, good.
Swimming again.
Does it share now?
Yeah, twice, 2 or 3 times this week.
Absolutely.
She'll walk in,
Yeah.
walk back,
I'll stay
get
here.
the dog, walk all the way to town, and then
right.
walk all the way back again, and then back in again.
Oh,
No wonder she's so short.
oh right. Okay, if we're all here, the order for today is the demonstration first, then practical work. Jenny's doing a demonstration, a pastel demonstration about 3 o'clock, I think it is. And we've got the slideshow at 6. So it would be a good idea to get yourselves ready for dinner before that. Because there won't be any time between the slideshow and dinner. So you get your beer before that as well, if you will.
Oh yes, no, yeah.
He's talking.
So that's the order of the day. And coffee should be arriving about 10:30. And they'll be desperate for a break, I expect. So anyway, ask any questions as I go along. This morning I'm going to work on Saunders Waterford rough paper. This is £300, high white, like cardboard.
Would you stretch that?
Roll Paris.
Yeah.
Would you stretch that?
No, I don't generally stretch £300 paper.
Right.
But
You'd stretch a lesser weight, would you? Or not one?
yeah, it depends. £200, if I'm working on a half imperial, I probably won't stretch it. If I'm working on a bigger scale with £200, then I will stretch. £140 I always stretch.
I find it's a pain to stretch paper. It's
Yeah.
It's like it's just
Yes.
something else you've got to do.
Yes, if you have a sort of a standard procedure for it, then it's not so difficult, but it can, feel a bit of a pain sometimes to have to do that.
Just to do it religiously. It's more process that you don't need.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Excuse me, David, before you start, where do you get that from? Because I had a look in Jackson's brochures today, and they haven't got the Saunders high white. No, not in Rough, no.
Ken Bromley's got
I
it.
think Bromley's.
Bromley's.
Yeah.
Funny you should say that, because I can't get paper out of Jackson's, but I can get it out of Ken Bromley.
oh right.
I'll have a look at Ken Bromley.
And what about the SAA? I think you can get it there.
Yeah.
Ken Bromley's usually better.
It's a lot cheaper than Ken.
It is, yeah. I've checked the two SAA and Ken Bromley. Ken Bromley's cheaper.
I mean, we have got paper here for sale if you want to, but it's very difficult to compete with. But if you do want some, there is some. I forget what the prices are, but Jenny knows. Jenny will be in this afternoon. So we'll better. That's probably in your way there.
I wasn't going to complain. Well, there you are.
There's public from
But the toilet roll's in the way as well.
Okay, right. The scene I'm going to do this morning is the one of Garrick the reservoir.
Okay.
And so change it around a little bit. I don't think I'll put the tree in the foreground. I'll just put the lake in, bring it down to the bottom, and show you the different ways of working. I don't always sort of conform to what I did in the sketch. In fact, I did 2 sketches. I did one a little bit further along with the crag being very, very prominent, and the sort of these 2 headlands coming very close together. So I'll start with a baseline. Now it's a good idea to use a straight edge ruler. Do that. Makes life a lot easier. Then we'll have this promontory coming down here. And the trees going up. So we're going to show mass trees as well. Then we have this line coming down here. A lovely view from the top of those crags looking this way.
Yeah, because that log tends to go around the corner, doesn't it? So you can
Yes,
see both
yes,
ways.
it goes a long way around, yeah.
Yeah.
This is quite a way away actually, and it looks quite close, but
Now, is that the same crag that was behind the bridge when we saw it from the other side?
yeah, the further bit
Yeah.
was, yes. Yeah, the further end of the crag,
Yeah.
not this top bit.
All right, yeah. I know
Behind
where
the
we
bridge.
stopped to
Yeah,
get
it
the
was
bridge,
that- it
right?
was this
Yes,
Stowe was on the top. I
Yes.
wondered if it was the same one.
yeah.
Right.
It was quite difficult to see the crags in the light there. It was coming and going a little bit at times, but a lot of shadow up there. Not easy to pick it out. When you've got some really good strong light on it, it really comes alive.
Yeah, we managed to get a picture of it when the sun came out later.
Yes. So we often wonder about taking people some distance from the hotel like that, but if you're going for a day, perhaps it's not quite so bad. Did you feel it was a bit far to go for a day, or do you think
No,
it was about right?
It's just the cold was the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
It's,
Yeah.
No, it was really
The
good.
venues were fantastic.
It was superb.
I think we're doing much longer trips than that.
Sorry?
We're doing much longer trips than that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's not a bad run
It
there.
was well worth it.
Yeah. Now they've put that new road in, it does speed things up a little bit. And there's the other side, of course, down that way. We've got the Brecon Beacons, which also provide some quite interesting and dramatic scenery.
You get a choice of different views from somewhere, you know, when you go that sort of place.
Yes.
It's a new different sketch.
The roads are pretty good in this part of the world.
Yes, not too bad at all.
Not that one we were on yesterday, it was just a single car track, wasn't it?
We began to wonder whether we were on the right road actually. I
we
insisted we were, but
we were just glad that nothing came into our area.
I told David, anything big comes, I'm out of it and I'm driving. Oh dear.
We went right down to Garth.
Oh yeah.
Right down there.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, yes, that's some narrow lanes road there.
They're a good surface.
Yes, they are excellent.
How is it, you know, it's a pothole job. I've not hit one speed bump yet.
no. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we tickets.
Oh, I
we
don't
don't know about that.
I mean, I think we're spending 34 billion on the railway line. And the roads have got absolutely fallen into it.
I don't know what they've done, but I think the political thing, but the roads he runs are pretty good.
And mine's just got a ticket for going into a yellow box, yellow crisscross box. Get out, somebody stopped on the entrance. Stopped, it was following traffic, and all of a sudden somebody stopped on the entrance and I ticketed him.
That's a bit mean though.
Yeah,
It could happen to
Kind of was
anyone.
towards that,
Yeah,
kind of.
exactly.
34 miles an hour I got done for last month. 34 in a 40 limit, and
Yeah.
the sign was right in the middle of a bush. So I took a picture of it, the non-existent sign, and sent it to them and said, how am I supposed to react to that?
Now, well, they'll explain it to you when you go on your
No.
driving awareness course,
Exactly.
instead of paying
Yeah.
your fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot it.
It's not the fine, it's the 3 points on it.
Sorry, it's the 3 points on your licence.
Yeah, 34 miles an hour.
In a 40
And it was a
zone.
40 limit.
No, in a 30
in a
limit.
30
Oh, in a
zone.
30 zone.
I was coming out of 40 into a 30,
Oh, I see.
and the sign was in a bush, so I didn't see it.
Supposed to allow 10% there, aren't they?
So
So that's
yeah.
33.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's one over.
you're only 1 mile an hour over.
I contested it, I didn't want to know.
No.
I parked on double yellow lines in Malmesbury one day, and I closed the door to the car, and because the dashboard was like that, the draft of the door when I shut it knocked the disabled sign onto the floor.
The badge.
Anyway, I got a ticket. Anyway, I phoned the police up in Malmes, Wiltshire, and explained what had happened. They wiped it clean.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must have been very pleading on the phone.
Well, it made me knees sore when I got up. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. David. Knee.
Okay. Okay. Right. So I think about the way I'm going to tackle it. Now, you see, I've left the that tree out. I could put it in, but I like to sort of change things around a little bit. So we'll just have the lake in the foreground. And I think about the atmosphere, the sky, and how the sky relates to the hills, the crags. It's very important to try and sort of work out exactly where you're going on that. So I think what we'll do.
That's a big camera.
Yeah, it is.
But I didn't think I would say anything.
Start with
Yes, it can.
water. Totally ignoring the
You see the button you
pencil lines.
You'll be a convert, Charles.
Going right down over the top of the mountains.
Yeah, over the top. And then some yellow ochre.
Sorry. Maybe I can turn that off somehow.
So you've not wet the top at all, you just wet that bit that you're concentrating on at the moment?
That's right, yes, yeah. Yeah, just wetting that area. And then some cobalt blue, very weak cobalt blue, going in the lower part of the crag. So the thing is that when I'm soften off bits that look as though they might become hard-edged and possible problem, but the point is that this is a very light colour, very light tone, so it's not going to matter as far as these lines are concerned. When I paint the darker sky over that, it'll obliterate this area of the Naples yellow and over there. And it's better to do that. It's quicker. It's a lot quicker to start with, but it's better to do that because if you try to take it up to there, you just paint that, you just paint all these little shapes and things. You find when you come to put the darker sky on top there, you've got a margin between the two, and that margin can be dark if there's a slight overlap, or it can be white if they haven't quite met. So that's the reason for doing that. I just realised the...
Do your pencil lines disappear, or do you have to rub them out afterwards?
Yes and no, really. I'm just doing that because somehow it's not sort of gone up that far. With the pencil lines, it just depends on how they look at the end. Sometimes they're okay, they don't intrude, and they add something to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes they look a bit intrusive, they look a bit clumsy or messy. In that case, I get rid of them.
Yeah.
And the marvellous thing about working on Saunders Waterford paper, it's internally and externally sized, and so you can paint over the pencil lines. You can rub them out afterwards, and you won't generally disturb the paint. On some papers it will.
On a softer paper you will.
Yeah, on a softer paper the fibres will go, and
Like Rockingford.
Bockingford, yeah, less so. It's a good paper, not quite as good as Waterford. Yeah, Waterford's my real favourite.
Fabriano is pretty fun. It's smooth.
Yeah.
It breaks up in the sky. A bit too viciously.
I'm just softening that bit off there. So yeah, try different papers, and I do point out that Saunders Waterford will take a real pounding, but it's such a robust paper. It's okay. All right.
Some artists like to leave the pencils in, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just depends,
Depends on
really.
who it is.
If it looks intrusive, get rid of it. You can always paint a darker tone over them if you can't rub them out, I suppose. It's, right, so now I've got to think about the sky and the relationship with all the pieces. Well, I have thought of that, how the sky's going to be a little bit darker there to make that stand out. But we want a bit of drama, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go and upset my
Away
missus.
from the table, and
Yeah, this water's going to go all over the place.
Yeah, you're right in line.
You want drama? I'll go and upset the missus.
Just going back
that's
to
the old-fashioned blue one, isn't it?
we've given some paper that's got cotton fibre
Oh, rack.
in
It's called rack paper.
in the surface, made of cotton paper. It's quite a good paper. It's £200. But it's forever drying out. It dries out in here. I couldn't do anything with it yesterday
All right.
because it just dried out. Like,
Yeah. It is difficult sometimes. Different places make it dry a lot quicker. I find this when I'm demonstrating, trying to assess the quickness of the drying is quite difficult sometimes because it depends so much on how it's lit, how it's heated,
yeah.
what sort of a day it is, and how many you got in the audience who are breathing heavily.
Half a kilowatt of per person an hour.
Oh, right.
All right.
So you can calculate how many people you've got watching you and how hot it's going to be.
That's been interesting.
So half a kilowatt a person
Well,
per
that's some
hour.
information.
Okay.
Not a lot of people doing that. It's not an exact science, is it?
No, somebody opens a window and it all goes
Out of the window. Is that ultramarine, yeah?
ultramarine and some cadmium orange.
Cadmium orange.
Oh no, sorry, cadmium red.
Yeah.
I told you I was.
You're confusing you, lot, Dave.
These half days off.
Well, just trying to
Confusing you.
keep people
I
alert.
know.
Keep people
I was
alert.
wondering who was going to say that first.
So those two are going to granulate, I would guess.
Mr. Manning.
So I'm taking this down over the crags, to the top of the crags rather. Now I'm being very careful now where the line goes, so we can bring that down there.
It's a nice brush, that one.
Yes, yeah, it's
Is it
Very-
shaped?
yes, it's got like a filbert shape to it.
Uh-huh. Seems to hold a lot of paint.
Navy blue.
Yes,
Ultramarine and cadmium.
yeah, these squirrel hair brushes hold a
Yeah.
lot of paint.
You're saying, David, I've always wondered how to get navy blue, and that's it, isn't it?
Yep,
Ultramarine and cad red.
yep.
Is that your bigger brush?
It's not the biggest, but it's one of the bigger ones.
That's really nice.
On your list of requirements or whatever, you had a mop brush.
Yes.
Do you use that very much?
Yes, I use it a lot. Well, this is like a mop brush. Yeah.
I don't remember what it said on the contact. Just brought me brushes.
No, I bought one of your big mops the other day.
Oh yes.
And it's great, but I think it's just molting a bit. I think that's just the initial.
They
bit, isn't it?
they do molt a little bit, unfortunately.
I think it's just settling down.
Yeah, it should settle down after a while. This one, but yes, all squirrel mops.
Oh, gosh.
But it points beautifully.
Yeah.
Fruit.
So this is a stronger mix
Yeah.
of
It's far less than 150.
adding a little bit of burnt umber into it. Yeah.
Yeah, done.
So we have some drama coming in there.
So you've got some hairs. Do we have to wait till that's dry to take those out? The hair.
Yeah, really, yes. There are some hairs
Yeah.
there, for instance.
Trouble is,
yeah.
if you take them out when they're dry, it needs a wipe.
It can do. It depends. You can. That's how I do.
Yeah. Okay.
You're just making it more of a mess. It's wet.
You can if it's you can make a real mess if it's not. If you sort of work into it too much.
Uh-huh.
So now it's a smaller brush, and I've deliberately sort of brought this wash down there to lose that edge as it goes behind the crags, and the same over here.
If I can bring you back to talking about brushes, how would you view these bits and the sort of ones that are quite trendy, if you like? The other ones I mean, the other way around.
Oh, the mops with the. Have I got one here? I've got several if they're the ones you're thinking of, but
You know what I mean, John.
there as well. So I'm just hinting at some texture, tone on the far hill over there. this one down a bit more softly. Soften that edge off. I have to keep watching it for a little while, because sometimes when it sort of runs down a little bit and causes harder edges to form.
But there's just two colours in that sky.
Yes. Well, no. This has French ultramarine and cadmium red.
Yeah.
This has French ultramarine and cadmium red with a touch of burnt umber in it as well, to strengthen it a little bit. So I'll pass it around shortly. You can have a look. Keep watching this. And what I'm going to do now is just soften this a little bit. Take out the hard edge just with a damp brush. This hill is quite some distance away, and I want it to sort of come through, almost ghosting through. And sometimes when you do that, you have to do it 2 or 3 times to stop the water sort of seeping down too far. So that's how you can create a soft edge there. So I'll pass this round and hope it doesn't get too what's it?
Thank you. Take 6.
You see how we've worked the weather this week?
Very well managed.
Yes, we were.
You were praying.
Yeah, we were. Oh, where did that come from?
Oh gosh. Paper up here today. Paper up there.
And it was starting to drip through, and some of them were poking it with chairs. The lights went out, and well, I was just telling them stories and joking and telling them, no, isn't this wonderful, you know, with all this atmosphere, and just trying to keep them happy there until we could get the lights back on. Anyway, it didn't take long. They got the lights back on, and then I suddenly looked at my my painting, which is a full imperial, dark sky, thinking, with one of those coming down right in the middle. And I thought, oh dear, that's a nuisance. So I had to get rid of it. So I did manage to get rid of it with a sponge. But it is a nuisance when that happens.
Disaster for me.
Yes, I wondered if it come down. If it come down from there.
That's off the top of the paper.
Is it?
That was wet.
Was it?
Yeah. That was wet, Dave. And as soon as you gave it to me, it come down.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was this.
No.
Well, we'll sort it out in due course. The last thing you want to do is panic and try poking it. That's a recipe for disaster.
You're just having a small amount, aren't you?
You've got to let it dry. You've got to let it dry first.
Let it dry and then
Yeah, let it dry. I mean, if the worst comes to the worst, you see, you can cut it off there, down there. But
It's a shame though, because
we'll sort it out in a while. But I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with it for a little while.
Subtle part of the demonstration.
You book anyway.
Then you did it on purpose.
No.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
Teach us how to recover.
So this has crept down again a bit further. So I just, with a damp brush, clear it out, bring it back to where it was. So you have to do that a few times usually with this method, but it's not too onerous. It's a very minor part of the painting in the distance there, and I just want to keep it sort of very faint, ghosting through there. So that's the reason for that. Right. Here's the duck. when I have a scene like this, I work from the back forward. So this is the next closest hill. So I'll do this one and then this area. I've also got to think about the relationship between these hills before I actually apply the paint. Is this going to be lighter or darker than that, for instance? So yeah, I could actually, yeah, it'd be rather nice to make this nice and light, wouldn't it?
I probably do, you know, just mind the differentiation between the two line masses.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether to darken it or lighten it.
Yeah. It is a bit of a problem sometimes. So putting in some cadmium orange. It is a.
It's a pretty stuff.
Yeah.
The day.
Well,
that's probably all communal, so we look at it.
Yeah. You do have that sometimes. I mean, even at this time of year, you get larches, for instance, caught in strong sunlight. My word, it can be incredible.
That's quite effective between that and your yellow ochre, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just adding in some yellow, but there's going to be a bit of counter change on this this passage here. That's going to be darker and getting lighter down here. So
how does cadmium orange relate to burnt sienna?
It's much brighter, and burnt sienna is more of a reddy brown. Cadmium orange is very yellowy orange. Sorry?
It's more vibrant.
Yes.
Oh, it's very vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks nice on there.
Yeah. More opaque as well, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yes. Yes, the cadmiums do tend to be opaque.
Quite good for foregrounds to brighten them up.
And very good for dropping into cliffs and things, if you want to add a bit of interest. I often add it in, even if it's not there, or if it's just a little bit of it. Or into dry stone walls. Can benefit from, if you want to make part of the wall a little bit different. If you've got a long wall, whether it's a dry stone wall or a wall of a house or something, and there's rather a lot of it, you want to break it up or vary it a little bit, then dropping in colours like cadmium orange and yellow ochre, light red, they're all good colours for doing that and creating a little bit of interest without sort of shouting, without saying, oh, I'm the focal point or something. Yeah.
Do you consciously choose opaque colour on top of transparency to get more oomph, if you like?
No, not necessarily. No, I just look at the scene and work out the atmosphere I want to create, and then I'll choose the colours. But it's not necessarily because cadmium orange and yellow ochre react when dropped into areas, and it's quite exciting. Right, so sometimes where I have this isn't too bad, but there's a little bit of a hard line there that I don't want, so I'll use this flat brush. I'm sorry we haven't got any of these flat brushes. Jenny gets a bit cross with me sometimes if I use something that she hasn't got, because she knows people get frustrated that they can't use it, but I thought she knew I used those all the time.
There's a woman for you.
Well, I don't know, maybe she thought she had some. It's very difficult to remember everything. So, we've got to think about this area up here now. And there were some, although it was far away, there were some lovely little features on it. And what I try to do is to capture the character of the area. You had sort of these mounds like that, and you also had a little touch of scree coming down the side there. So this is just some French ultramarine and yellow ochre. And now I want some raw umber. I don't know why I've got small tubes of these. I think I sometimes have them and they've been around for so long because I use them sometimes for outdoors work, although I use mainly the half pounds outdoors because they're so much more convenient. But I sometimes have to get rid of these because they're getting on a bit. So.
I find I can't open them.
Yes.
They dry up very quickly.
Well, the best thing to do is boil the kettle and pour boiling water over them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I stick mine upside down in a
What about
a
zips?
cup of water.
What about zips on your carrier bag that sees up? Have you found a
WD-40.
Got one now.
Yeah.
I carry a pair of nutcrackers with absorbent paints.
Sounds painful.
What are you going to say? You do whatever you think you like to with your nutcracker.
I bought one of
This is raw umber and some French ultramarine. So just clumps. And just softening it off with a brush in places. And bringing more ultramarine into it. Now.
You've actually not got much paint on the brush, have you? It's mostly dry brush.
Yes, mainly dry brush. Yes.
Yeah. It makes a nice light.
And then a larger amount. Taking it down. And again, losing the definition between the two parts of the hill. And so here the this mast tree slope will be light against a dark area. Genuinely delighted to see some rain. What a garden. This is a lovely way of creating a scree slope. They're using the dry brush, and then I'll soften it off with a damp brush, the outer limits.
It really surprises me, Billy, that you've made that sort of distant mountain more prominent. I wouldn't thought that you would want to do that.
Right.
In other words, you appear to have broken some of the rules.
Oh, I'm always breaking the
rules. Because we all stick rigidly to these rules.
Yes, that's right. Well, you should stick rigidly to the rules until you get to know how to break them. Yeah. It's, I'm trying to get a sense of a bit of light on this area without.
It's quite effective.
And you've decided against the green, haven't you? Because you were a bit more green on that one.
Yes, it shouldn't have been quite so green on that, but I did that in a bit of a rush. This is more as I wanted it.
This light from the sky there on the top. This is quite effective, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. It's but I'll show you in a while.
I break the rules all the time.
So now we.
I noticed we don't give you a green on it. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'll never get anything out of it. That's it.
As you were. Thank you. That's all ready.
What you lost here?
Light red. I'll use burnt sienna anyway. I'll use the burnt sienna. Like the large number 14 connoisseur brush. This is a very old one. They come to such lovely points, but I've really knocked this one about. No, it's seen better days, this one. But it's been a.
But you still got it.
Yeah. Well, you've got these favourite brushes, and you don't want to part with.
Yellow ochre.
Yellow ochre. Water. Burnt sienna and some cadmium red. Oh, I'll pass it around in a minute. I haven't done that for a while. It's just so much excitement.
That's written red.
I was going to put light red in there, but as I can't find the tube, for some reason, such an obvious colour to have on me, but for some reason it's not there. So I've used burnt sienna and some cadmium red instead. Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll pass it around now, and you can have a look.
Oh, yeah, they're off or something. Is that why you've left a bit of that? No. It's not right. It's all
Rocks.
complete.
Rocks.
The rocks.
Yeah.
This is red forward, blues back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Demonstrate.
Sorry?
Do you have a jacket catalogue?
Yeah.
You got next year, this year?
I assume so.
I was going to say I've got one of this year.
I'm pretty sure we have.
Yes, really looking for your next to the
Oh, it is. Yeah.
water wells. Or will we get on the Bargain Road?
Yeah.
I bought this £7 worth of material.
I'm trying to have the
And I bought a book. Well, that's what it was a book. It was £7.
I'll save it for best.
They all say, and as I said, they all say, bring your friends.
Yeah, think, oh, no, I can't use
But this
Use it, that might spoil it.
you could go in there and spend hours
Yeah,
using it.
yeah.
They got everything you can imagine.
Yeah. Very good.
Dried out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's all very, I'm not very good with cameras and all that sort of thing.
Again, I should get rid of the line there. Doesn't matter too much. As you can see, some of these brushes get quite a hammering. Yeah.
Wasted
So,
brushes and a waste of paint. I wonder if coffee's there. That's 10.
David, can I ask you, I've got a picture that I'd love to paint and it's a gap done low and you've got the mountain and a nice lead into the gap, but on the left hand side the mountain sort of comes round the bay as it goes round the lake. Now, hard as I try, and I've tried to get it straight, the lake always looks like it's going up or down. So do I avoid the whole idea of the mountain coming around this side as a round the lake, and avoid that, and shift the whole focus over so the focus is there?
I see. Well, there's a bit of paper here. You've got the lake coming around like that, have you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the gap is sort of here.
Yeah.
So you get the lovely mountains and the gap where the cars and trucks can go through.
Right.
And then you've got this, obviously the track comes down here. And this is very foreboding here. And the light mainly comes across here. So if you're evening and sunlight is on the top there. So you can get some good mood and bit of, but it's just that bit that always
if it's the sort of...
And you've got mountains coming up here, obviously,
Yeah.
with foliage and everything.
The problem that a lot of people have with lakes like that is that they can see it curving round like that. But if you do it like that, it makes it look as though you're high up in the air and it's sort of way below you. The answer to that is to sort of bring in that sort of effect.
Yes.
You need to flatten it out a lot more. like that, and I don't know if there's any trees or what have
No,
you.
it just screen, it just sweeps down, very dark and very foreboding. As I
Like
say.
that?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
send a copy off to the Ordnance Survey and tell them you've changed the landscape. Yeah.
I think I've done about
she's telling you
the
about
next
pictures.
20.
Have you
I've
done
only
it
tried it a
your
few
book?
times. I've tried it all different
Yes.
ways.
About
I can
this
never
business
seem
of
to get
flattening
that.
out.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
remember
a
which
feature
one.
in one of David's books.
It might be
A
the.
little bit of a peek here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's clever.
It's perspective on lakes that gets people
Yes.
really quite.
Yeah.
So you need to bring it round like that,
Right.
and then another one.
See, and then to confound it a bit more, just as you're looking at the gap, and which is quite narrow with these mountains coming up here, it's quite sharp.
Yeah.
You've got then the like a little island, but it's not. It's just the land coming out
Yeah.
and the water going behind it. So
Ah,
it's,
yeah.
it's very
Prominent
and it's
in the water.
quite a spectacular. Obviously, it's
Is there any fish in that lake?
Yeah.
I don't know.
no, it's no. Fish.
I've been there. I can't actually remember the lake. I mean, I got photos
It's
of it
not
back
a lake.
home.
It's what do you call the
Pond?
a bit bigger, the Lake District. What's a tarn? It's more like a tarn.
Oh yes, yeah,
You have to work out the tunnel down.
And then, of course, there's the
yeah. That's the sort of thing
Yeah, thank you.
that. Yeah, it's just the perspective, getting the perspective right.
Yeah, because you can get a lovely yellow and everything up here, and then you can get it coming in and
Should I go and
whooshing
see if the
wind.
coffee's there,
So
Ron?
the weather,
Hey.
you can really
Sorry?
play with
Should I
the
go and see if
weather.
the coffee's
It's
there?
quite-
In a moment, let me just do this.
Change it into
You wouldn't wet the whole thing. Just
legal.
Yes, you can put it under the in the bath if you want to. That's a really good one sometimes.
I've got mine in the sink many times.
Well, that gets
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, it does.
look at that.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone.
Very impressed there.
Who's that guy that paints a lot of slate in North
That's
Wales?
the sponge.
He's
By a
60
sponge.
under that.
Yeah, it's gone.
Blend it all in.
Right, what were we doing? Oh, we're going to put some of burnt sienna,
I would avoid that.
ultramarine,
All sorts of things like
Devon red,
I'm glad that's
Devon blue.
Cadmium glue.
Nick's grill, as if he was just trying to see if we were awake.
I'm glad that happened then, because it's shown everybody how to get rid on.
Yeah.
Rid of it.
He really wanted to do that.
I think you put the drip there purposefully.
What we
No,
call
I didn't do it
smoke.
deliberately, but
It worked.
it did.
Marvellous to see. Yeah.
You can take that down a bit more, I think, just in case the water
Runs.
Yeah. In fact, it's all right. You can bring it right down and give a nice sense of unity to the whole thing.
Wow.
Goodness.
Is that what we call glazing?
Yeah, that's glazing. And the lower part of this we will lose. Yeah, it is a nice brush. And then I want a smaller brush. Oh, that's come down a bit low there. You don't want that to sort of cause a problem. And actually I'll have to take the water right down, otherwise it's going to mess it up a bit there. And if you really want to stop the water coming down onto an area, you can use tissues. And again, the little flat brush is very useful for losing edges, softening off, losing that edge there, for example, in the atmosphere. Seem to have an edge there. Must be a.
It's still dry though.
That's dry there, I
Yeah,
think.
it is.
Yeah, it's. I missed it in the excitement. Right. See how that goes down here. So we can check out our
I'll go
coffee
and
now,
check,
shall I? Yeah, why not?
Are you in the flagpole? Coffee. It's out, David.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. I'll get out of the way now.
Right, okay.
That should be
Like
pleasing.
doing a country dance.
So if you sit down now.
No, you sit down.
Yes, I'm going to.
Oh, sorry.
I'll just let you float slightly.
No, Bert.
Okay, we better make a move. Next stage for more medium sort of tone. And I'm just going to apply it on the crag area. And then the ultramarine and cadmium red mixture to it there. Again, the burnt sienna and cadmium red down here. Warm that up a little bit. So to accentuate this long crag coming down there. Lose the edge.
So you can soften the edge while that paint's still wet.
Yes.
Right.
And that's forming into more of a blob than I wanted, so I'll take that out a little bit more. And I'm just suggesting some of these boulders, small crags on the lower slopes. Soften that off. And again, some more detail over here. This is where the most detail is going to be on these crags, but I want to hint at some over here. But a lot of this is going to be subdued. some yellow ochre.
And then when I get to drawing and painting, I completely forget the technique. And really, you're watching it and you think, yeah, I remember that.
It is difficult, isn't it, to remember it? Yeah.
Your DVDs, I mean, is that really the way to...
DVDs are good because you can play them over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they do the, so you're actually doing what you're doing here on the DVDs, are you?
They're not exactly the same. Every one is a little bit different, of course, because of the different compositions. And, but a lot of this is, yes, on some of the DVDs.
So this will come into Skies, Light and Atmosphere, will it, that one?
I used to stop them and play frame by frame. That's how I used to follow David.
With the DVDs, the APV films ones are all about producing paintings, and it's filming me working. With the ones that we produce ourselves, the earlier ones were just like a slideshow. Oh, excuse me. Because when I showed the slides, people were asking whether they could get those pictures, and they wanted to see them, take them home. So we decided then we'd do DVDs of just the slides with the commentary. But the SLA one, the Skies, Light and Atmosphere one, we've brought in some filming into that, so that there are some basic techniques for skies and some more for atmosphere and some more for light. But it doesn't go into great length into mountains and crags and things like that. But it does.
Do any of them do that?
It shows the techniques.
Yes, yeah. Well, there's the mountains film.
Mountains one does, yeah. Because watching you seriously, you look at it and you think, right, yeah, okay, I remember that. And then you get it in front of your own piece of paper, and it just seems to disappear.
I often freeze David.
Yeah.
Just keep moving.
Yeah,
But
well, that's
literally, as he's moving his brush, because I could never understand how he got this technique. That's the message.
Yeah, to do it. Well, that's what I need to do, is just to get the DVD and the book. I'll have a look at it.
You'll
Yes,
get the whole of the
and just
bad
work,
one of it.
work
Good for seascapes, when the boat, you've got the waves rolling, and the boat moving, you can stop it frame by frame. It's wonderful. It's just as it's going to go back and go through the wave.
Yeah, I saw
You
it.
lock it and keep it.
I've got about 20 minutes, but
that's what I need to do.
How much is planning and how much is sort of letting the paint come? How much is planning and how much is paint do what he wants to do?
Well, with watercolour, it's nice to let the medium have its own way sometimes. But I obviously plan a lot of it, and sometimes you see, oh, there's a rather interesting bit forming there. You sort of let it have its way a little bit. Yeah.
David's favourite happy accident.
There we are. So now I'm putting on some darker shadow onto the crag area.
Ultramarine and red.
Yes, same mixture.
Yeah.
Back now,
Isn't it?
see what
Yes,
it's
you
doing.
can see, yeah.
But this is the thing that I've always
To emphasise the light.
Yeah,
That's
it's the strength of which David does this. I'm terrified.
It is terrifying.
And
not for you, I hope.
But presumably you could get it off, couldn't you, again?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, you could wash it off.
Feature I was talking about on that. Yeah, I can see where it's coming from, but it's doing it.
This is pulling it back and forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also push the start back a bit now, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah, sure. Yeah, well, you've got the counter change now in between that and that. It looks lovely, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, I don't know whether it'll look lovely at the end. It's,
Well, no, you'll do your favourite spatter or something like that.
oh, something nasty.
That will
Yes.
sort it out.
Wicked. So
this is sort of scenery like at home too. If I could do, even a little bit like this.
Well, I think this is what drew me to following David was the mountain scenery.
Likewise.
So again, I'm using greater pressure on the brush at times and less pressure at others. It's almost dry. Well, it is dry brush.
That's the rigger.
This is the rigger, yes.
I can see the effect that high white is having on that picture, David.
Emphasises the screen.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it does.
A lot more than the old sort of what I call fawn coloured paper.
Sort of creamy colour.
Yeah, I've used it a couple of times.
See how that red is
but
actually
it affects your
softened in,
technique,
hasn't
you know,
it?
you have to
Yes,
modify
it has.
As it's
So, and I'm losing the crag at the bottom, hard edged up there, but losing it at the bottom as it goes into the main part of the cliff, and there's some vegetation at the bottom of the crags, and so there's a lot happening there that right in places, but I'm not going to put a hard edge across there.
Okay.
It is a bit of a problem knowing when to take notes and knowing not when to take notes, because sometimes if you take copious notes, you often miss out on the actual technique. You can't see it properly. So what I do recommend is that any technique that I use that you particularly like or you particularly want to try out, then watch very carefully, but make some notes, and if necessary ask me to recap on a situation, because that's not a problem, and I appreciate it. But unless you tell me, I particularly like that one, could you go through that again just to in outline, and although I might not sort of paint it on again, I can discuss it and hopefully help you in that sort of way. But it is a problem, and all tutors have it, and it's not easy to get over. But obviously you can, with a DVD, you can rerun it again and again and again. So I'm just putting on some detail on these crags, trying to hint at the structure and the way they are, and also some of the rocks below the light coming this way.
Again, that rigger seems to hold a lot of paint, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's quite amazing. This is such a small, very fine rigger. This is a sable rigger. So now we'll have just a little bit of detail over here, and we're going to semi-obliterate it in a moment. It might seem a little bit perverse at times to spend quite a bit of time putting on some detail like this and then splatting it with a wash, a glaze across it. But there's a reason for that, because although you lose quite a bit of it, it really does give a wonderful sense of coming and going and lost and found. I love that effect. I mean, I have disasters like anybody else. Things do go wrong, but
It's when you have one every time that it gets a bit disheartening.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that's all within one painting. Lots of times. I sponged mine up, this painting out so many times. It's just.
Each time you do that, it's a learning experience.
yes, you do actually learn quite a bit.
Yeah. I absolutely love this bit here.
Nice contrast.
Yeah.
3D,
Yeah, whereas when the red went on, it was quite.
Well, this is the
strong,
one thing, the underpainting that David
it's
does
gorgeous.
is where I go wrong, is that I don't do enough of it. And,
Yeah.
because I think it's ghastly when I do it. Because once you put the detail in, you can see there's wisdom in it. Really.
Yeah.
Well, I lay a lightish wash over it. It might be a light yellow or a red or even a green perhaps, and then I like to dry brush across it sometimes to have that broken colour with some of the original wash showing through and some of it obliterated.
When I first started, I used to try and do it the other way around and wondered how on earth you got away with it. I thought, well, obviously doing it the wrong way around. I used to do the detail, didn't try and put the,
Oh, really? And then
the
wash over.
underpainting
Yeah.
in, and it just didn't work. And that's why it's such a joy to watch David doing it. Going in the memory bank, hopefully.
Yeah.
It doesn't always stay there, that's the trouble.
Well, if you know, 10% goes in,
Yeah,
it's,
true.
Everything you
That's
learn
true.
on a course, you just everything you see, you just can't retain everything.
No.
It's just impossible. But
if you try to do it to all the new pictures that come out, like children's paint.
well, David did say that, didn't he?
One line.
Yeah.
well, you can
Our efforts go downhill and then hit the bottom and then come back up again.
When?
the point is to work out what is the important thing in a painting that you want to replicate. What sort of aspects of it that I've been covering that make it quite exciting for you that you'd like to think, and don't try to cover absolutely everything, because that way you often cover nothing. So
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just because there's so much.
yes, there's so much there. Now again, I'm using this little brush to just to bring out a little bit of light on some of these crags.
Do you mean the one we can't buy?
Yeah. I've had one for ages and I love it.
Yeah, and so Jenny will probably get some in now.
I think if I looked at home, I might find one, or even five.
Yeah.
I think I've got one in the
Yeah.
drawer, but I'm not
But I often use this technique for just pulling out one or two little highlights within an area, and sometimes I'll dab it with a tissue and that sort of thing. It just adds a little bit of something in there.
Breaks up that flatness.
Yeah, that's right. And then we do this nice intricate work, and then we get the slosher out again.
So
And,
excuse me, is that, it is shaped, isn't it?
yes, it's not like a shark fin. It's sort of like that. Yeah. But they come to this is quite an old one. They do come to a better point.
David said, well, Jenny sells one. It's got a lovely point on it, but it unfortunately doesn't last.
Isn't it?
That picture on this.
Yeah, that's it. They're lovely when you first see them.
So that's just water.
That's just water, yes.
To
Yeah.
soften the sky into the land.
Right.
So again, we're going to go for the doom across there.
Jenny's gone a bit faint, David.
Is she?
Should say yes, exactly.
But you see, the underdrawing comes through stuff, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Goes in on this is where this is only a tree right over this.
Yeah, me too.
It throws the emphasis over there.
It
Then,
certainly does.
yeah.
It certainly does.
Sun's coming out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the crag is yeah.
Sun's just risen.
Yes, it gives that sense of sunlight there.
Oh, brilliant.
And the contrast between the
The underpainting,
Yes, yeah, exactly.
the underpainting
David
got
has
a
his
bit
head
dry.
in his hands. He's visualising.
Sorry? Yes. Yeah, it's got to be dry there before you do that. Otherwise, actually, I'll use the other brush because I don't often soften it off. This rather club-ended rigger, it has its uses.
Yeah, it's good for that. But, yeah.
We don't want too much of that because it'll make it rather fiddly.
I always struggle with mass trees.
So do I.
Yeah,
The biggest area.
they are difficult. It's a good idea to have a little bit of detail on the outer ones, the ones, and then just a suggestion further in, because that will then sort of make the eye sort of assume that there are trees.
Sort of negative, isn't it, to start with?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it looks so good. Soft on the edges, I like. You do it the other way and it's too sharp.
But a bit more to do on that in a while.
Yeah.
The other thing I need to get rid of now is this bit here. And really, before I go any further, I should start on the lake. Do a bit on the lake.
Not a sampan in sight, Connor. Not a sampan in sight.
Yeah, it does get this far.
Yeah, if you use the rough paper, it really does help the sparkle a bit, a lot. So I generally paint that, take it right over there, and then unless this is darker, this is lighter, of course, than the water, then you've got a bit more of a problem. But this is darker than the water, so it's not really an issue there. And I'll often just take it down so far and leave it, and then bring in some darker tone lower down. This I didn't really mean to make that darker there at that point, but it did. I was going to do that later anyway, but that doesn't matter.
You've got a boat on there.
Oh yes, yes, a Viking warship. Or
I didn't
something.
touch it.
So.
Sampan.
Right, we'll get on with the trees up here now. There were some conifers high up there, which I could see from that angle more than from there. And there were other. I should have brought the other sketch in because it was quite an interesting one. Quite a bit different from this thing where these were going up there and the conifers were really standing out against the cliffs.
Yeah.
You didn't see so much of that, and this promontory was much closer to that one. So
Is that ultramarine and yellow ochre?
raw umber.
Raw umber, right. That's a nice conifer green.
It is a good conifer green, yeah.
You'd have to put a rock on there to make that painting, that's strong.
Well, it might
It's a bit
be.
like Peroline green, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice green.
Yeah, it's just framing that other piece of lumber now, isn't it?
It does, yeah. That's the idea, to get it sort of frame it.
Bent umber,
Raw umber.
Raw umber.
raw
This is,
umber.
yeah.
Yeah, I've only started using it in the last 6 months. It's quite useful.
Raw umber is a lovely colour.
I've
Yeah.
just bought it here because I've never used it.
I use it occasionally, but I'm using it quite a lot now, with mixing colours.
And what I do then is I pick up the rigger and more Ruamba and ultramarine, twirl it, and then we can sort of sharpen that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah. Because I've conifers everywhere, and so it's nice to have a green that's a good green colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have this tree here, which is deciduous tree. Normally I should be working outwards, but it's quite difficult sometimes to get the right angle. Move the board around, of course.
Those trees are giving it another layer.
Absolutely, they have, yeah, because they're dark against that light.
Yeah.
Right behind it.
A series of
And the
layers.
strong shape against it.
Oh, we saw that tree yesterday, didn't we?
Many. It was full of kites.
Was it?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
The colours on the birds.
Yeah, you get a bit of sunlight on the birds, and my
You saw a
word.
white one, David.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, one of only 8 in the country, they said.
All right.
Yeah.
Photograph.
How far did you have to travel to get to this place?
It's only 12 miles or so up the road.
It was on the way to where we went for here.
Yeah.
Right.
We passed it.
Yeah.
Just
Right,
south of
where we
Ryder.
turn
Oh, yeah.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting.
I was
I think
thinking
even
of
if we
going
weren't
away.
interested in birds, you'd still get a photo
Yeah,
of
I
it,
think
isn't it?
you would.
Instead.
You went to work?
Went to bed instead.
Oh.
No, did you?
We've got some super bird head shots that for sketching. Because they're blue. The colour of the head's blue.
Pale blue, yeah.
Pale blue. Really,
Yeah, I was amazed when you said that.
yeah.
I didn't
Because you
realise
think of them as sort of rusty colour, don't you? But
Mm.
the head's pale blue. But this white one, it's not an albino. It's lack of pigment.
Oh,
It's not an albino. But it knows that it's not right, so it came right in at the end of the
When
feeding.
all the others are gone.
Pecking order, it
Yeah.
knows that it's not
yeah.
like
Probably
the
get
others.
bullied if it
Yeah,
Yeah.
the documentary said that, it waited.
Yeah, and it came right in at the very end.
interesting watching
Yeah.
the bird behaviour.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that, isn't it?
It's a striking looking bird there.
We've gone worldwide now, but that haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Those trees.
So would you put things like that, when you send the photograph, would you put things like that on the photograph? There are
Yes.
no breeding pairs and
Yes.
things like this?
Yeah. And the fact that it's not an albino, it's just lack of pigment. Yeah. Any information I've got.
You
Because-
send that with it?
Yes, I put that on the thing with it, so that people who've never seen one before, will. It's of interest. Yeah.
It's nice to break up the conifers with ordinary deciduous trees. So
Yeah, one or two like that is
Yeah.
good. Try not to get too many different species in the same bin. It can look a little bit sort of like a guidebook if you're not careful. So
This is a larch. This is a poplar.
Yeah.
This is a maple. Yeah.
And
I
this is
usually
one of
put
my
2 or 3,
trees.
maybe 4 sometimes.
My great danger, and probably lots of people when they're starting out, is that you get a tree and then you do another one and another, and they're all the same.
The same
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've got to mix them, haven't you?
You have, yeah.
Mine have all got 3 branches.
See the colour going down. That's sort of I find that really
yeah,
difficult.
no, I did too.
That's what I find difficult, David. What you're just doing now.
Oh, this area?
Yeah.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
putting detail in.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not easy, especially as there's no reference there,
Yeah.
really. But I know what's there. There's a massive trees and not in great detail, but I've got an idea of where I want to go with it.
Right.
We'll go to about there, I think.
But pretty close because you've got you watch behind you, the trees wouldn't have stood out.
That's right. I needed to be fair.
So I often drop in a variety of colours into an area like this. So we've got sort of massive trees there, but I'll have to leave that now until it dries.
That's quite wet now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I need a bit of white.
Yeah.
We'll turn off the noise of going to noise on the and students. So that's
So whilst that's drying, I just get back over the other side and
Get to setting.
finish that off.
highlight the folders in
Yeah,
front.
tranquil
Yeah,
trees.
yes.
This poor old brush is getting a bit blunt now. And then just with a damp brush I'm blending it in.
So it's not hard.
That's right. So, and here I want to, this finishes rather abruptly, so what I want to do there is to take it up a little bit more with, not too strident now, sort of.
That's not too strident.
No, it's very unstrident.
Just a tad.
Terrifying. Terrifying to do that. Oh gosh. No, I'm far too careful. I can see this.
Yeah, you've got to go a little bit over the top sometimes, be bold and let yourself go.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I know.
Sometimes it's a good idea to do something on the back of an old painting and you know that hasn't worked and you think, oh,
Just liberate it, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And then that comes out well, and then you think, now what?
Can I do that again on a clean piece of paper? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you tighten up. And it doesn't work.
Well, you do everything to kid yourself, that's important.
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah. And
It's only paper.
That's right.
So let's have a little bit more shadow over there.
Does he illuminate it?
And then even stronger.
Highlight the top right probably.
Yep. Moving this one down there. And that sort of graduates it a little bit,
Yes,
so that.
yes, indeed.
And here I want to subdue these lights with a medium glaze, so you can still see them, but they're not that prominent.
Okay. It's very subtle.
And I'm just letting this area here, I'm leaving it as it is, because it's nice to have areas that not very strongly defined and not contrasty, and other areas where it is a bit contrasty. So that's the reason for that. I'll get rid of that one.
See, I like even, excuse me, this bit in here, you see.
Yeah,
That's lovely with a sort of...
Yeah, I'm going to leave that, I think. We've got enough excitement for it.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's still a bit wet. Dry it all. So just a bit of detail on these sort of beaches. As they're quite close, I want to put some strong tone on, but not too much of it. Still awake, Mike? Oh,
You woke him up.
sorry, I woke you up.
I fell asleep the other day, didn't I?
Yeah.
I did. Well, one I did anyway.
You've been quiet for a long time.
I'm
still there.
I'm studying.
Degree of concentration.
See, the yellow ochre that I blobbed in there
Yeah,
has gone into that softly, which is rather nice because it contrasts the hard edge that I've got there. And,
It's like a bush, isn't it? Yeah.
They look a bit too uniform for the sharp goes down both sides, don't they?
And that's what you mean when you say it's a bully. It moves into...
Yes, it pushes the others out of the way and
Uh-huh.
creates some lovely effects that way.
Yes.
So I think now we'll have something quite strong over there in the
It is, but it's quite almost a part of the atomic bomb, isn't it? Gee whiz.
It's amazing.
and allowing some of the colour to come through, but
Not a lot.
not a lot, no.
Right, that's predominantly brown.
It's the burnt sienna that's dominating.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, muck.
There's obviously ultramarine because it's coming through.
So what would that have been there then, David?
Well, it's supposed. Oh, sorry. It's
Right.
it's a mass of trees and bushes.
Brown,
And,
yes.
yeah.
Ah.
A lighter tree.
Could you do that if it had dried off a bit? Even because you're doing it when it's damp.
I'm doing it whilst it's damp, and yes, you can to a degree. It depends on the pigments. But what I will do, I'll sharpen that up in a little while when it's dried, so that stands out just a little bit more, and a bit more there. And then we'll have a little bit of more of that sort of thing on the other side. Oh, that's a bit darker than I expected. Don't know what's in there. So a bit of cloud shadow coming in. And then in a while I will I'll put just a little hint more detail in there, but not much, because there's really enough here now. I don't want to keep you too long. It's been quite a long session, this one.
Because of the unwieldy pupils, David.
That's right.
Excellent. There's a lot of techniques there, though.
Yes. So again, this is putting in a darker wash. The washes do, of course, dry a lot. They're lighter when they dry out, so you have to take that into account. So if you like, you'd probably like a bit of reflection in there maybe. I hadn't really sort of considered it much, but it's that colour, isn't it? When raw umber and ultramarine wet into wet reflections is not just the shapes as reflected, but colours as well. Yeah, and you put some colour into it, in other words, it does make it zing. And then some of this over there, muck. But I'm not going to put a lot of reflections into this now, because there weren't any on the day, but I just thought just have break that up in a minute. The other brush. And then with the rigger, just a few little bits of hints of detail, really. Bits. How are we doing? This is into wet papers. It's wet into wet.
Right. Yeah.
And the other thing I do get a small brush, I suppose, and get my cadmium orange and some red in there. And just a damp brush.
Soften them off.
Yeah.
So what do you mean about having detail and then disappearing? with the trees?
Yes. Yes. I don't want much detail here because this area is meant to be dark to throw the emphasis on that area. But I'm just going to hint at a few blobs in there.
Cover that up with a mount, David, would?
Well, the mount will come to about
Yeah.
there, yeah. This negative painting. Orange.
You're just breaking up that area.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I could be tempted to put a bit more detail in there, but I don't think I will. I'll just do a quick scratch and I'll be finished. So let's have a look through a cut now and see what
That's amazing.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to do any more to that.
Yeah, we'll all get to one.
Thank you.
Thrown all my theories out the window on that one.
That's really
God,
lovely.
wonderful.
That's got so
I
many
love your
different techniques
contrast.
in it.
Yes, yeah, there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because looking at it now,
I mean, I love doing demonstrations all the time, but I have to resist it sometimes.
This is useful. It's so hard to do.
But I would suggest you make some quick notes about some of the techniques maybe that
The negative page
you've seen
fabulous.
and pieces there, so you could have put something very much like that in there that's not so strong, and then brought these in much stronger once the background was nice and dry, and not too many of them. You only want a hint of 2 or 3 at the very most, so that you might benefit. Did you take some photographs of the bridge?
Yeah.
You might benefit from doing the bridge from further away.
Right.
Making it about a third that size, perhaps.
Right. And having a real go at the background.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So,
I think I might do that. Start afresh.
if you're a little bit,
Yeah.
if you're getting a bit frustrated with a scene like that, it's sometimes the composition that's causing the problem.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the fact that you're too close in.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can be too far away, of course. But you'd find then that your trees wouldn't be such a problem because they wouldn't be so big.
Right, yeah.
So try that and have a longer lead in.
Try and have a lot more farther.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
I can give.
yeah. You need to make this a bit sharper. If you've got to work out what is your focal point. Is it this here or is it this one? If this is the focal point, you need to make this a bit stronger, sharper, and a little bit more shape to it. So the crags are coming down like that, and then the ground is going down there. Define some of the crags and the rocks at the bottom of the cliffs. Maybe soften this off here.
Sorry?
Soften this off here. So
yeah.
It's not so prominent. Where something goes behind another ridge like that, you want it to be soft edged and put more interest here. I don't like these three trees there. They're too similar, too same distance apart. So if you add another one in there somehow, it'll make it a bit better. Yeah.
How about reflection?
Yeah, not too bad. I think you could have been a bit bolder with them.
Sorry?
You could have been a bit bolder with them.
More water.
Put more water across there and drop in some more of this colour into it.
More color.
And then if you put another tree in, of course, you'll want to put that in as well. So put the tree in first, and then wet the whole area, and then put in some of this colour in there, wet into wet. Just let it start to dry, so that it's not too wet, otherwise the shapes of the reflections will be go out too far.
Okay. There is no gap in this case. It's not good. Actually, there should be some gap between tree and reflection.
Yes, that's right. You've got a bank there coming down. You want to try and make it look as though it's the bank is coming down like that, and then you can hint at that in the reflection.
Understand?
Yeah. I didn't put any reflections in my painting because there weren't any on the day. It was just the wind was rippling the water too much for any reflections. But that makes it very difficult for you because you can't see the reflections to work from.
In my case, it is a lesson.
Yes.
Reflection lesson, cloud lesson,
Yeah.
sky lesson, brief lesson.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Good.
That's nice.